Good evening, and welcome to the Detox podcast, a podcast regarding relationships. First things first, before I get started, just want to thank the Game 7 podcast for definitely influencing me and motivating me to go ahead and do this. De Niro, who is the host, was always, in my messages like, hey, man, you need to post more content. Hey, man, get out there, do more. So if you ever get a chance, go ahead and check them out. They post it live on Facebook every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, our time. But like I said, they definitely helped me stay motivated in regards to doing this. The Detox podcast is a relationship podcast, and on here we're going to discuss some topics that might be comfortable for some, uncomfortable for others, but it's okay. Every episode might not be for you. The message might not resonate to you, and that's fine. But I definitely want to at least start having some conversations, because there are a lot of people in the world who are in relationships, and it's a dead-end relationship, and they want to talk about it but don't know how. And then you have people who constantly get into the same recurrent relationship, and again, they don't know how to talk about it. They don't know why it keeps happening. They don't know how to get out. So on this podcast today, I'm doing a pre-record only because I'm out of town. And when I do get back in town, I want to take some time to spend with the family. But usually it's going to be a live one. So there will be times where I actually have call-ins. There will also be times where I'm interviewing people face-to-face. And people who I talk to are going to be people who've been in different kind of relationships. You'll have some people come on who are married. But hopefully out of one of the episodes, as I continue this road, something is said that helps you or resonates to you. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for the first part of the podcast, I want to do something a little different. I want to break this into a 3-part series, 3 different episodes, and we're going to talk about overcoming a toxic relationship. Now, I know some people might be in one and they don't know how to talk about it, or they don't understand it. So, I'm going to break it down into 3 parts because I once was a toxic person. It took a long time for me to feel comfortable enough to say it, because I was in denial for so long, and I always found a way to blame her or blame somebody else. It was never my fault. I was never the problem. I was the perfect guy. But in all actuality, I was the Antichrist. I've grown, I've matured, so now I can say it out loud that I was the problem. I was toxic. And that brings us to our first episode. We're going to talk about being held accountable. The word accountability is defined as the fact or condition of being accountable, responsibility. So my thing is that people who are toxic never see it as their fault. It's always their partner's fault. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to say he a lot, only because I'm referring to myself and how I was. This podcast is not going to bash men. This podcast is not going to bash women. It's going to talk about relationships. So, number one, anybody can be toxic, a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. But if I say he and it's really a she, go ahead and switch the word in your head. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so being held accountable, it's you have to be able to say, you know what, it was me. I was the problem. It took me about 2 years after my breakup to finally say, you know what, I was the problem. I was the issue. It wasn't her. It wasn't my family. It wasn't friends, even though I tried to push it off on everybody else. I had to one day look in the mirror and say, no, Terrence, you did this. And honestly, if you're in a situation where you're a toxic person, it's something you're going to have to as well. You're going to have to be comfortable with telling yourself that, hey, I'm the issue, I'm the problem. It's just like an alcoholic has to, accept it. He has to say out loud, I'm alcoholic. You have to say, I'm toxic. Because you can hear it from everyone else, but you're going to be in denial like I was. You know, mom tried to tell me, sisters tried to tell me. Only people who honestly weren't real with me to tell me like, damn T, you fucked up, was my boys, of course, because they're my boys. They was gonna have my back. But in all actuality, I was that guy. I was uh I was the problem. And like I said, once you hold yourself accountable, you find it so much easier to navigate a relationship, because relationships aren't hard. It's only hard because we make it hard. I saw a meme earlier this week, and it said, once she catches him cheating, he'll never trust her again. It's funny, but it's true. There's no one who has trust issues like a man who's been caught cheating. And I can only say it because I was that guy. I turned it on her fast. Like, oh, what are you doing going through my phone? Oh, you don't trust me? Why are you checking up on me? What was I doing? She had no reason to trust me. She had every reason to, search through my phone. And a lot of times you have a lot of people that be like, oh, I'm not that person. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to do this. But in all reality, when you love someone and you're really that person is your everything to you, oh, you going to check. You could lie to yourself as much as you want, but you going to check. But yeah, so anyway, that's a funny meme, but it's a toxic meme at the same time, because it's the truth. It's always gonna be her fault. Like, why you checking up on me? Why you doing this? Why you doing that? And then from there it turns into, well, I only did it because you're this way. That's the biggest cop out in the world. We did it because we wanted to. We did it because at the time it felt good. We did it because it was an adrenaline rush. There's so many reasons why we did it, but we never do it because of something that you did. And because in reality, if you're not happy somewhere, you can always leave. You can walk out the door. Now, marriage is a little different because, you got divorce, you got kids, sometimes you got a house, a lot of things tied into it. But if you're in a relationship and you're not happy, don't be that toxic person and go out and feel like you need to go seek it somewhere else. You get out of there first. Leave that relationship, then you can go ahead and seek. Because when you stay and you start stepping out and you become that toxic person, whenever something gets affected by toxic, it breaks down. It deteriorates. That's a better word. It deteriorates. So if you ever seen someone who's in a toxic relationship, if you've seen your boys or your girls in a toxic relationship, and you watch how it breaks them down mentally, how their body, they start taking less care of themselves, there's a lot of things that happen to them. And the whole point of it is that somebody has to be responsible for it. If you are stressing somebody out to the point where they're losing weight, to the point they're not eating, to the point where they're questioning their own life, you're the problem. You're breaking them down. And the cold part about it is a toxic person can affect more than someone. They can affect more than someone's daily life. They can affect their self-esteem. They can affect their eating habits. They can affect their mental. It's so many things. And to watch somebody get broken down that way is a hard thing. So we have to, especially a man, if you're a toxic person and you look at yourself and you say, damn, I'm toxic, you have to understand that you are supposed to be the protector. You're supposed to be the provider. Now, I'm not on here saying that every relationship has to be that way, because it's not about bringing in more money. It's not about, physically be able to protect. What it is that as a man, your woman needs to feel secure with you, whether it be in home, out on the street. So if you're a toxic man and you make her feel devalued, you make her feel unappreciated, you make her feel unloved, that relationship is gone. It's not there. It's hard to bring those back. It's not impossible, but it's hard. Because in the midst of all that, you're going to lose trust. So as a man, if you know you're toxic, the easiest way to fix that is to take accountability for your actions. You have to. You have to own up to it. You have to say, look, it was me. And one thing I'm going to say now, I'm sorry and I apologize, sometimes won't be enough. No one wants to hear the same repetitive stuff over and over and over and over every day. That's why some people quit their jobs, because they're tired of going to work doing the same thing over and over and over every day. They don't want to come home. They don't want to have a significant other where it's constantly every other week. It's, I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry, babe. They don't want to have to hear that. They don't. So holding yourself accountable is, owning up to what you did, but also not doing it again. That's a whole different episode, so we're not going to talk about that. But in reality, if you're holding yourself accountable, you also have to be smart enough not to make the same mistakes. You have to be smart enough not to keep doing it over and over again. Have some consistency along with your accountability. I know it's a hard thing, but honestly, it's simpler than what people think. It's no issue to leave the house, go to work, hang out with your boys, hang out with your girls, come home. And everybody be happy, and everybody be faithful. It's not. But us as human beings, we find it so easy to communicate with others what we don't communicate with our partner. One of the biggest toxic traits of men, like I said, I'm only saying man because me, one of the biggest toxic traits is communication with others. If you have an issue going on at home with your girl, talk to her about it. Don't go take it out talking to your best friend. Don't go take it out to your female friends, because it complicates things as far as it separates the communication even further from your partner at home. And if you have a hard time communicating with your significant other, then you got to figure it out. Write it down. Send a letter. Like I know it's probably, some people are probably laughing at that, but I'm serious. Like, if you're the type of person where you don't know how to say it, write it. Maybe that'll help you. But one toxic trait is stepping out and confiding in someone else, what you should be confiding in them. So like I said, holding yourself accountable, you got to admit that too. You got to admit, damn, I'm not a great communication person. I don't know how to talk to you. Maybe it's something. Maybe you don't know how to talk to her because you feel like she doesn't take you seriously. Maybe you don't know how to talk to her because you feel, but everything resonates to you. So you have to figure out a way around that. A lot of people will be surprised how open their partner is to having certain conversations with them. So my thing is, like I said, this ain't for everyone, but this is just what I've experienced. Try talking. It helps out a lot. And like I said, toxic can go both ways, because you hear more so about men being toxic than women, but in reality, women carry just as much heat as men do. And I say that because once I went through my toxic acceptance, I told myself, okay, look, karma's gonna come around and gonna bite me in the ass. I didn't know in what form, I didn't know from who, I didn't know how long. All I knew is it was coming. And so when I got out of the mind frame, like, oh yeah, it ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be me. It hit me so hard. I'm sorry, when I got into the mind frame that it wasn't gonna be me, that I was past it, God came and did what he did. No. It hit me so hard that I felt what my ex felt at one point. I started questioning myself as a man, like, oh God, like, am I good enough? Like, what's wrong with me? I started to break down, and at that moment, that's when I felt like, oh snap. Yo, that's what I did to her. That's crazy. That's when I opened my eyes and said, you know what? I'm toxic. And that helped me move on. Now, I admit there are some conversations I still never had with her, as far as like apologies and all that, because at this point, it's been so long. Like, I'm pretty sure she's doing what she's doing. Like, I don't necessarily need to bring it up, but if it ever happens, it's like I'm at the point in my life where I can say, I apologize. I was dumb. I was immature. I was stupid. I was reckless. Like, these are important words, when you're getting over your toxic behavior, because these words are like a way to cleanse your soul, to say. But the only issue is that if you don't want to stop being toxic, these words ain't gonna mean nothing to you. If you're a toxic person and you like how you move, you like the way the world is for you, then I mean, there's nothing you can say, nothing you can do. Just take your toxic behavior somewhere else. Ladies, if you like to cause men headaches, if you're just there for a meal, if you're just there for comfort, gone. I'm telling you right now, gone, because you're going to come across somebody who's not going to know how to deal with the toxic. They're not going to know how to react to it. Fellas, the same way with you. I'll tell you right now, me personally, this is serious. Some people might laugh, but for me, this is no joke. When you push somebody to the point of violence and they feel like they have to put their hands on you, men or women, like I'll tell you right now, I've never hit a woman. Everybody who knows me can vouch for that. Like they can piss you off. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've been pissed off. But it's like that's how she reacted, because that's what I drove her to. That was my toxic ways, and that was how she reacted to it. But however, once you're in a situation where you feel like you have to put your hands on somebody, get out. That is nothing but toxic 101. There's no reason, any reason where a man should have to put his hands on a woman, especially a woman he says he loves. And there's no reason a woman should put her hands on a man. Like, abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be tolerated. So if you guys are in a relationship to the point where y'all fighting, that's not love. That's toxic. You have to accept it. That's toxic. And my aunt told me this, and I didn't understand it until I got older, because something would happen and she'd be talking to me. And my aunt definitely helped me out through a lot, and she would say, "Baby, listen. Love doesn't drive you to violence. If someone can push you to the point where you're so angry, where you feel like you got to pick up something, you got to feel like you have to swing something, you're not supposed to be there, because that's not love. Doesn't matter how you try to dress it up. That's toxic. You have to accept it. You have to take accountability for the fact that that is toxic. There's no way around it. There isn't. There's none. There's some people watching this, you're a toxic person. Ask yourself, do you bring your significant other to tears? Are you constantly lying? Are you stepping out? Are you in multiple relationships and every relationship is her and not you? Or is it him and not you? You're toxic. If you break somebody down mentally, you're toxic. You have to take accountability for it. You have to do better. We're adults now. We're old enough. We know right from wrong. We know left from right. Like, we can't keep making these excuses and saying it's because I saw. Listen, once you cross the threshold of 18, you're legal. Mommy and daddy can't save you. At a certain point in relationships, what you saw as a child, that has to be something different. And if you're in a relationship where things are happening, where it reminds you of past memories of pain and childhood and all that, you got to get help. You got to get out of that. Another story about me. I was talking to a girl, and she was in an abusive relationship at one point in her life, and I was aware of it. And me, I'm like, I'm the nice guy. I don't do this. I don't do that. But you got to know that when somebody comes out of something like that, there's these things called triggers. And you have to know their triggers, because the most innocent thing from you could be seen as the most outrageous thing for them. And I'll never forget, we were having a conversation. It wasn't even an argument. She just kind of like had an attitude about something, and she turned to walk away. And when she turned to walk away, I just grabbed her arm as like babe, come here. But when I grabbed her arm, it gave her a flashback. And at that moment, I was like, whoa, like, oh shit, like, damn, maybe this ain't healthy. Like, what the heck? Like, you okay? I mean, but if you're that person where everything that happened to you is a trigger for something that happened in your past, you gotta talk to somebody. You gotta help that, because that right there is also toxic. If you are bringing your past baggage into your current situation, it's toxic. Everyone says, "Oh, I don't want to talk to nobody with baggage. I don't want to talk to nobody with baggage." Listen, we're adults. And this day and age, everybody has kids. Everybody has exes. People got baby mama, baby daddy drama. It happens. People have things from their past. Some people got stalkers. Like, and I'm being serious. But in all actuality, you're not going to come across the perfect person. Nobody is. Everybody has something that from their past that they can't get rid of. But like I said, the thing is that if you're that person where in every situation you're going, it's you, look in the mirror. You're the toxic person. You have to find a way to hold yourself accountable for your actions. You have to find a way to get past your past. Because the more you hold on to this thought that you're the perfect person when in reality you're the Antichrist, the harder it's going to be. And you have some great men out there, you have some great women out there who are really in a situation where they don't know how to communicate what they're feeling. I'll help you out. If you're in a toxic relationship but you don't know how to tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend they're toxic, have them watch this. Have them watch this podcast. Don't look at them while you're watching it, look straight, just say, hey, word of mouth, I heard about this, but have them watch it. Maybe something that is said will help them understand, like, damn, I do things like that. Damn, maybe it will start a conversation. Watch this with your significant other. Don't be afraid to let them know when they're doing right or when they're doing wrong, because at the end of the day, your happiness should be more important than your comfort. Don't fake being happy just because it's a comfortable situation. That too is toxic behavior. I sat around somewhere for a total of about 8 years. Not even there no more. Don't even talk to the girl no more. I sat there for comfort to fake happiness. We both did. That's a toxic trait as well. There's so many things that can make someone toxic, but there's one step to getting out of it. Accountability. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your partner accountable. You might not be in a relationship. Maybe your family's toxic. Hold them accountable. If they lie to you, tell them. You lied to me. I know what you did. Wasn't cool. For every action, there's a reaction. For everything you do, there's a consequence. If you're going to hold someone accountable, be ready to give them a consequence and stick to it. If you're going to hold yourself accountable, understand that there's things that you're going to have to go through because of what you did. Don't be afraid. It's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is extremely hard, but it's necessary. It's extremely necessary. And it's necessary for your happiness. It's necessary for your partner's happiness. It's necessary for your family's happiness if it's a family situation. But it has to happen. Accountability is something that you can't get past. Because if you're never held accountable, if you're always coddled to feel like you're the greatest, you're the special one, but in all actuality, you are the devil walking on the earth, it's not going to do you any good in the future. If someone is hurting you, you need to let them know they're hurting you. If you're in a situation where you can leave and you feel like this is a dead end place for you, don't be afraid to walk out. It's scary. It's lonely. I'm not going to lie to you. It is lonely as hell. And I have a number of friends that can tell you I spent time on a couch. I spent time texting them. I spent time calling them. And I'm not ashamed to say it because I'm a relationship guy. I'm a lover. I truly am. I'm the guy. I go out. I get flowers. I do the surprise gifts. That's just who I am. And so being out there by yourself, if that's the type of person you are, yeah, it's scary as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it's necessary. It's growth. You got to do it. Never be afraid to walk away from something that's toxic, something that's hurting you. And for the ones who are toxic, never be afraid to change. You know, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend today, you know, and I was talking to her, telling her about everything I wanted to do, everything I wanted to talk about. And, you know, she said, well, maybe you just need to find the right person. And, you know, I had to let her know. I said, look, I said, for me, you are the right person. I said, but when I got here, I didn't have to change anything. You didn't have to change. You didn't feel like anything that I did, you had to change me. I was toxic. I thought I was the baddest thing walking until I ran into someone who showed me I was a damn fool, who broke me down to the point where I was questioning, am I good enough? I had to hold myself accountable and say, damn, if this is what I feel like, I can only imagine what I made the other one feel like. And I said, I took responsibility for everything I did. And I said, you know what? This is what I deserve. This is what I get. This is what I caused. And for me, holding myself accountable and actually looking back, seeing what I did, it was so much easier in this relationship to avoid those same steps. It is. And I'm so much more happier in here. Like, I'm not wondering, like, dang, is my phone gonna go off in the middle of the night? I don't care. She has my password. When I leave the house, you know, is she gonna follow me? I drive a truck with a logo on it. I'm not hard to find. I don't have to wonder, am I gonna come home and, you know, fall asleep and have a pot of water thrown on me? No. She don't want to mess up the bed. No, I'm just playing. No, because I don't give her a reason to. I don't make her question her sanity. I don't make her question her security. I don't make her question our love. It's genuine, it's natural, it flows. But the only way I was able to get here is by starting there. And by starting there, you just have to say, you know what? I'm the problem. That's the easiest solution. Just admit to yourself that you're the problem. Like I said, it's not easy. You might be in denial. But if out of those 10 relationships, the 10, hell, I'll break it down. If there are 5 relationships, all 5 of them, it was something wrong with her? Nah, brother. Something wrong with you. You, sir. You, ma'am. Because like I said, it can go either way. But you have to be willing to accept responsibility for what you've done and what you caused. You can't push somebody to the edge of the cliff and be shocked when they jump. Hell, you backed them down. You didn't give them a way out. So if you're constantly breaking someone down because you're toxic, eventually, yeah, you're going to leave. Why? Oh, because you're not the same as you was when I first met you. Well, no, duh. You broke them down. You took everything away from them that they had. Now, like I said, this isn't a podcast that's going to smash men. It's not a podcast that's going to smash women. I'm no relationship advice guru. Don't look for me in my words. Don't look at my situations and say, oh, I'm going to try that. No. You do what works best for you. But whatever you do, just be willing to accept those consequences. I'm nobody's spiritual advisor. That's my dad. He's the pastor. You can talk to him if you need his information because you need spiritual advice. Let me know. But in all actuality, I'm just a man who's made some mistakes. I'm a man who wants to be better. And I'm not perfect. I'm not. But starting this conversation, having these conversations, actually looking at my life right now, yeah, there's a lot of things that definitely I need to change. There's a lot of things I'm glad that I did change. So don't look at me and say, oh, he must have it together, because I don't. Hell, I'm in a relationship where I'm learning every day. There's a lot of lessons, I'm going to apply, But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm just a man. Thank you all for listening.